Hi, my name is Alex Etzel. I'm the director of the Masters in Marketing program here at the University of Texas at Dallas, and I'm very pleased to be here today with Ashley. She's one of our students in the MS in Marketing. In fact, one of our first students, because you started a semester before the program launched. So welcome.
Thank you.
So Ashley, before we get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, kind of your past career, education.
So I did my undergrad at Lake Forest College, which is a liberal arts school outside of Chicago.
Okay.
My undergraduate degree is in art history and religion, with an emphasis on medieval architecture, so not really applicable to what I'm doing now.
Yeah, very different.
Very different. I have a background in hospitality, which is where I started working my way up after college when I moved back to the Dallas area, but I found the MS in Marketing program here and knew I wanted to change directions, so here I am.
Sure, good. Well, glad to have you. What made you choose UT Dallas and specifically the MS in Marketing, say, versus an MBA or another program?
Honestly, the concentration of the MS in Marketing is purely, I knew I wanted to be in the analytics track and not, as far as I know right now, there are no other schools in the area that offer that specific core curriculum in a master's program.
Correct. Okay. And so you're taking quite a few courses. You're into your third semester. Why don't you tell us about some courses that stand out that you found very useful for kind of your career goals?
I think marketing research was incredibly insightful. Ideally, it would, if you apply yourself, tie together sort of the fundamentals you learn in statistics electronically to the new softwares that help BI and all of those fields succeed. So that was very influential, and then I'm in a course called Web Analytics right now, which is very interesting, and sort of learning about the structure of SEO and analytics in general and targeting online. Okay.
Any other course that stands out?
Well, they've all been really good. Database marketing is also.
Okay. That's when you're taking this semester. And what are kind of some of the topics that are covered in that course?
Database marketing is more or less a deeper application of marketing research. Marketing research is a lot of theory and still a lot of statistically based problems that are more abstract. Database marketing is very specific to database marketing.
Sure.
How you use database and the different kinds of data structures you need to get different kinds of outputs and use those correctly. So it's a little bit of a step down into the water.
Okay.
As far as using SAS and creating data sets,
Sure.
Understanding what you can get out of them.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to discuss with you, we've talked about this previously, is you've been involved in a competition with NetBase. It's a social media listening platform. Why don't you share some of your experiences with that competition?
Well, the competition was a great experience. NetBase was kind enough to lend us all user licenses for the duration of the competition. So it's a social media listening tool which allowed us to scrape posts from all over the internet specific to topics that you define or exclude within your configuration in NetBase. And so based on what we found there, we defined a white space and came up with a business plan for the next killer mobile app.
Right.
So we actually were first runner-up.
That's right. Actually, it was really initially a tie, and I haven't shared all the final results. I'm going to, but your team was really almost basically in a dead heat with the first place winner, and then the judges had to deliberate further. So it was a very tough decision. You guys did an outstanding job, and we hope to have your YouTube presentation up here shortly. So the other thing I wanted to talk with you about is kind of your career transition. You've kind of changed trajectory. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you were doing and kind of how things unfolded?
Sure. Many thanks to Alex for that. I was a events manager for a local hotel, and so I was doing more operations management, and I decided to go back and get my master's with this analytics specific degree plan in mind. And so met with Alex, jumped on board in the summer as, I guess I was just a master's in MAS student, and then as of the fall I switched into the MS in Marketing track when it began to be offered. So my experience has been really great in that working with Alex and through UTD and my coursework here, I've been able to transition to another company that is a marketing intelligence service provider. And so really now my coursework is being reinforced by out of classroom experience, and I'm getting both sides, real world application with or coursework. So that's sort of the holy grail of learning.
Sure. Without sharing, any specific details, what type of work do you do there? What kind of projects are you doing?
For the most part, depending on the kind of services we provide for our company, we do overall business intelligence and marketing intelligence reporting, whether that's campaign analysis or campaign management. We also can, because of the depth and the breadth of our sister companies, we can do deployment in the digital sphere with targeting online, which is informed by our digital segmentation that we can do. We work with online data, database data. We still do direct mail. So we're sort of a holistic top-down provider if we're able to do that for a company. So most of my projects center around taking things that have already been outputted, or sometimes I'll actually handle the data and run that through a database and sort of tease out the insights and the drivers and what's happening to kind of give a company hopefully very actionable items.
Sure. No, I know you guys do very exciting, cutting-edge work at that particular company. So in closing, and one of the reasons that I was especially wanting you to give a testimonial is that a lot of students, prospects that are thinking of the MS in marketing or an MBA in marketing are wanting to do it in part to kind of change their current career. They're in sales, or they're in some unrelated field, and want to get into the analytics field, the digital marketing. So you made the transition very well, wonderfully. But what advice would you give students? Because there's an element of risk, right? You've got a job and you've got to jump into another environment. So maybe share some thoughts there and advice that you would give those in that situation.
I think that the one thing I could say is, of all of the industries that are growing and that are changing, marketing intelligence is growing in leaps and bounds. And Dallas especially is an area where you can be very, very successful with this skill set. That's not to say that you're going to walk out of any program and have a complete holistic view of the industry and of any particular program or process. What really this program is designed to do is prepare you to walk in and then get more in-depth training on the job. So as far as basic concepts and understanding, I felt very prepared to walk in, and I feel like doing that in the middle of the program was the best decision I could have made, because making the career transition, I would have never learned as much had I stayed in my other job. I probably would have been better paid.
Right, exactly, sure.
Because I switched from a full-time managerial position into an internship, which is a complete 360 from you go from manager to managee.
Right.
It's a very different world, but it is enlightening, and the world really opens up very quickly into where you can go. There's so many opportunities, not only within marketing intelligence, but data visualization, data management, data warehousing, coding, app creation,
right.
Deployables, mobile. There's so much that touches, and the core of that, the hub of that, are these basic analytic skills, because you've got to find the why in what you're seeing, and if you can't figure that out,
right.
It's very hard to go anywhere. So.
Yes, absolutely. It's great advice, and I know you're doing excellent. Great feedback from your employer, so I know, Ashley, you're going to do very well in your career. So thank you very much for being a student, and best of luck.
Thank you.